I was on the bed. The top part of my body is on the bed, and from my waist down was dangling on the ground. Yahya Jammeh penetrated me after doing the face rubs on my face and talking all the things that probably would arouse him. I don't know why, but he was sweating like a lot. My face smooshed into the bed, crying for help. When there was none. You know, he wanted to see, and he said, let's see what is here, as he pushed his piece into me. With a pillow right on the bed and my face smooshed into the pillow. I was trying to wiggle. And mind you, as all of this is happening, I am hearing the Quranic recitations in the background.
In a small West African nation called the Gambia, a story of courage began to unfold. It is the story of Fatou Toufah Jallow, a young woman who found her voice in a time when silence was the norm. Her decision to speak publicly would start a national conversation about power, dignity, and healing. For more than 2 decades, Yahya Jammeh ruled the Gambia with full authority. His leadership was marked by loyalty and fear in equal measure. During those years, many citizens lived quietly, afraid to question those in power. It was within this environment that Toufah's story began. In 2014, an 18-year-old student named Fatou Jallow, known by everyone as Toufah, won the national Miss July 22nd beauty pageant, a competition linked to the country's national celebrations. The victory brought her national attention and introduced her to high-ranking officials, including the president himself. At first, Toufah believed this recognition would open doors to community and youth development opportunities. But soon, her relationship with power took an unexpected and painful turn, one that would shape her future and test her strength. According to Toufah, she experienced a situation that left her deeply harmed and afraid. She later said that her trust and dignity were violated by someone she once believed had good intentions. Out of fear for her safety, she left the country, crossing into Senegal to start over and find peace. For years, she stayed silent, until she decided that silence would no longer define her life. Remember, you're watching part 2 of her story.
So after that, when was the next time that you saw Yahya Jammeh or anyone else from State House?
It was before Ramadan. I'm not sure what date Ramadan was in 2015. But I did receive a call from Jimby again, and she said that it's been a while and that there is a Quran recitation at the State House, the normal gamma that we do have. And so I took my veil and my dress, and I remember asking her if the other girls are there. And then she said, yes, the other girls are there. So it's an official gathering, so it was okay to go, because this is not one of those that I'm going for a private meeting. And then she said Landing was coming to pick me up. And Landing did. And then we went to the State House. The first door opened as usual, and we passed. Yeah.
Do you remember around what time of the day that was?
For Agamo, and it was late, so it should be around like 10 for me to get there by 12. So because it's a Gamo, so it's like a whole night thing, it wouldn't start earlier than, yeah, so he would have picked me up around 8, 9, 10 within that time frame.
So you arrived at State House very late at night. You went through the first gate, you said?
Right.
Can you tell us where you went?
So we passed the garden, and the garden was filled on that day with a lot of people were wearing white. Ministers and other people that normally sit in the VIP are there. The president was not seated. I could not see him sitting there. And our car had to pass to go for me to be on the side or with the driver, because the president is coming to take his seat. And if that is happening, cars are not allowed to loiter around there. People are not allowed to be walking around, or everybody just stands up and wait for him to come. So the car went to next to an office, very similar to the one that I went to with the girls the first time we came, and we were waiting for the president to finish praying. So I was there, and then Jimby said hi to me, Danga Hibon, as in you get sick all the time, and that it has been a while and hope I am fine. We had that conversation, and we were sitting there, and the narrative was the president is taking a seat, and as soon as he finishes to take his seat, then I can come out and then join behind in the group, but I cannot walk around to come and take my seat whilst he's doing the same protocol, as Jimmy will call it. And then Jimby said that I and her should move to the next room because some people were coming to use the room that we were in, so we moved to the next room to wait for the president to come. And that's what we did. We moved to the next room. Jimby was there with me. She was on her phone, and then she decided that she was going to go get something, water. So Jimby left the room, and I was seated there. Now we are in the second room apart from where the waiting area is. And out of nowhere and so unexpectedly, the president walks into that same room from a door. Now, was he there before I got into that space? I don't know. Did he come from... I do not know the building enough to know where he had come from.
What kind of room was that?
So it's also a waiting area, but it has brown doors, like 3 of them. I do not know which one of them is an exit and which one of them is a bedroom. But I get to know that later, that is a bedroom. But the other 2 doors, if they were exits or if they were bedrooms as well, I do not know that. So when he walked in, again, he wasn't all dressed like a ready-made dress as if he was going to take his seat. He wasn't wearing his full costume that he wears to go outside. You know, but you know, he's, I don't know if it was the redness of the eyes was of anger, if the redness of the eyes was something induced, I don't know, but all I know is that his eyes were very red. And that scared me for a second. But I greeted him, and he didn't respond. And he said to me, not in sequence, so just so you note, there were so many things that were said in between here and during the whole thing, and some were said before some were not. I say them as I remember them, as some of them are like really stuck with me. I do not know what comes before what, in a way, but there were words like, who do you think you are? And that he is the president and that he gets any woman that he wants. He pulled his hand to reach out to me, like to kind of grab me, but it was with the back of his hand. It's like if you want to like scare somebody but not really hit them, but with like that, and then held onto my arms here. And then he dragged me and opened that door that I was talking about, the brown door, and inside we were, as he pushed me on and then locked the door. Now this is a small room. It has a bed which is not very high. It was white in the room, the couch, the pillows, the bed, the ceiling of the house, and there was a washroom there as well.
Just take your time. There's a bottle of water next to you in case
Right.
you want to drink something.
Her decision to appear before the commission was historic. She told her own story, her version of what had happened, and how she says her life changed as a result. Her voice trembled, yet her message was steady. For the first time, many Gambians heard a woman speak openly about the emotional harm she said she endured under the country's most powerful figure. Toufah's public appearance sparked mixed reactions. Many praised her courage, others questioned her story. But one thing was clear. Her testimony opened a long-avoided national conversation about dignity, protection, and justice. Across Africa, her story inspired others to speak about their own experiences and to demand greater respect for women's voices.
He said, let's see if you are a virgin. And swear to God, I was scared. Right? And I started to apologize, to say that I am sorry, you know, I am so sorry, please don't do this, I am so sorry. Because he appeared very angry and I was apologizing. I don't know if I was apologizing for, I don't know what I was apologizing for. Is it because he's angry or what happened before that? But he held my face. He pulled his pants down and he rubbed his genitals in my face. More like hands on my head this way, but like pulling this way and rubbing. I was underneath. It's like I was right by his pelvis as he rubbed his genitals on my face. I had a dress on and a leggings underneath the dress. The dress was more like a abaya because it was gamo. He pulled my dress up and he was just saying things, and
When you're ready, just switch on the mic.
I keep saying he. I would say his name. So Yahya Jammeh decided to penetrate me, but before he did, he took out a needle from his pocket and he injected me on my arm. I'm not sure of what it is or what it was for. And unlike in the movies, when you're injected, you just don't fall immediately, depending on what it is that has been injected into you. Yahya Jammeh did not want with me or pleasure with me. What he wanted to do was to hurt me. What he wanted to do was to teach me a lesson. What he wanted to do was to manifest his ego. Just like many of us can't believe that a girl can say no, someone like Yahya Jammeh and in his position found it very disrespectful for a 19-year-old from not an elite background or not the daughter of a president to somehow gather some kind of audacity to say no to him. That he is a man probably who hasn't had so many no's. And my no wasn't because of a sense of understanding or I was better off, I wanted to. My no was just because I felt it was wrong. And I felt that it wasn't right. I was on the bed, the top part of my body is on the bed, and from my waist down was dangling on the ground. Yahya Jammeh penetrated me after doing the face rubs on my face and talking all the things that probably would arouse him, and somehow my begging and my pleading, or maybe my I am sorry, made him feel better about what was happening. I said stop. I was saying stop, please don't stop. My nose were very clear even as I pleaded and said that I was sorry. He wanted to see, and he said, let's see what is here, as he pushed his piece into me. With a pillow right on the bed and my face smooshed into the pillow. I was trying to wiggle, and mind you, as all of this is happening, I am hearing the Quranic recitations in the background. The Gamo people was going on. The imams were preaching outside. I could hear loud and clear, and so could he. The Sukula team were singing praises of the Quran, and all of that was going on because loudspeakers were being used. So it was loud, and you could hear it from the room as if we were part of the Gamo. Yahya Jammeh was sweating, and I don't know why, but he was sweating like a lot. My face smooshed into the bed, crying for help. When there was none. You know?
If you need a minute or two, we can take a short break.
worst part of this is thinking or imagining that anybody thinks that is not true, because I feel up to this day every stretch of my muscle, every stretch. When he penetrated me, he seemed to have been looking for something. Whilst his head was on my back as I was smoothed in the pillow and he was standing on the floor with the rest of my body down, I saw him peeking and looking for something. He sodomized me. And what that means is, he took his penis and he put it into my nose instead of my vagina. That's what sodomy is. My muscles were hurting, and in that moment, and it wasn't like he even wanted to take long, or it was just so all just being hurtful. All of it was just being hurtful the entire time. And whilst he was doing it, he was so comfortable with the fact that he has a great cover-up, that this will never come out, especially in detail, and that no one would believe this. And he has a great cover of imams reading the Quran in the background. Who would have thought that that was happening inside? However, I felt unconscious at some point. I guess at this time, whatever was in my bloodstream or he injected me has gotten to me now. But before that, the voices started to fade away in my head. Even the screams that I was screaming, I could not hear my screams anymore, and I could not also hear most of the Quran recitation. It was all going in the background, like a shadow voice, in the background, until it kind of faded away. And I don't know how long I was laying there. I don't know what Yahya Jammeh did to me that whole period that I was laying there, what happened, but I did get up. I did wake up from that and feeling very disoriented, like I had like if you have a very long nap, like you slept whole day kind of, and you wake up and you're feeling a bit sick because you slept a little too much. That was the feeling that I was having, and I was dizzy. But before I lost consciousness or whatever happened in that moment, I did see him grab the same leggings that I was wearing that he pulled off and went to the washroom. Now when I got up, there's a chair, a white chair too, in this room right next to the door, and he is leaning back in the chair in his shorts and with no shirt on him, and he was just leaning back, and this leggings that I saw him take was somehow under on the fan that was standing there, or probably it's not, but it's a black one and it looks similar to my leggings. So when I got up, because I'm like moving around, and then I got up, my tears are kind of dried on my face. He told me to get out. I walked out of that door. I don't know, his Gamo, I guess, or wherever. Kim Papa, who always either holds my bag or my phone, he was there. But my bag and my phone this time around, I didn't get to give it to anyone or bring it in because I was dragged in. So my bag was left on the chair where I was waiting. And this King Papa that you call Aliu, Aliu something, you mentioned his name. He looked at me and said that this is our president and we will do anything to protect him. That's why I could not forget his face on any picture and at any moment. Grabbed my stuff, left. Jimby was right there at the door. Again on her phone, pretending like nothing just didn't happen. Went with me, she didn't say a word, I didn't, all the way into the car as we exited the waiting area, and the black car landing was still there waiting. I got into the car and landing took me home. The entire trip from there to my home, landing didn't say a word to me. I didn't say a word to landing. I was in the back of the car, leaned on the window of the car, staring at the moonlight or whatever bright light was outside through the dark window, because they were tinted glasses. No one outside could see inside, but I could see outside. And I was leaned back there and tears rolling down my eyes the whole time until we got home. And I was numb, just numb. I wasn't like processing anything. It's just like I just watched a movie of some other person. We got home, Landon dropped me off. Yufana and Jammeh never said anything or asked me what was going on or why I am quiet, because at least when he picks me up, sometimes he will ask, how are you, or how has it been? The other girls, we are going to go pick her, she's at the door, do you want to text her and see if she's there, something. But none of that happened that night. And then I got home and my sister was the one who was awake. She opened the main gate for me and I came in. I was holding my shoes in my hands. I was not wearing them. She opened the door. She was very sleepy. She woke up from her sleep. And then I walked into the room again. Now my mom, she's a light sleeper, so she heard the door and she opened her bedroom door and peeped through the drape. And she said, oh, your back is late. I said, yeah. She's like, Gamo. So she understood, because it's a Gamo, that time is all right to come home. My mom was half asleep. She really didn't look at me enough. She really was just trying to check who opened the door. And when she knew it was me and I was fine, she just went back to her room. And I wasn't also standing there to engage her, because I was rushing to my room and her door is right there. So I went into my room and then I locked my door. Now,
To be continued. This marks the end of part 2, but Toufah Jallow's story is far from over. There's still more to come. The Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission, TRRC, recommended that accountability should follow for those found responsible for wrongdoing during the previous government. As of today, Yahya Jammeh lives in exile in Equatorial Guinea, and the call for justice continues within the Gambia. For many, the process of truth and reconciliation is slow, but every testimony, every voice adds another piece to the country's path toward healing. Toufah Jallow's story is not about blame. It's about one woman choosing to share her experience and a nation learning to listen. Her journey reminds us that courage often begins quietly, with a single decision to tell one's own story. Whether people believe her or not, Toufah's voice has become a part of the Gambia's history, a reminder that understanding, accountability, and healing are all part of rebuilding a nation's soul. This is the story of Fatou Toufah Jallow, based on her own words and testimony, a story of strength, healing, and the power of speaking out. To watch Part 3, subscribe to our YouTube. The link is in the comments section. Thank you for watching. See you in Part 3, and don't forget to follow us. We share untold stories across Africa.